Yogic actions are neither black nor white. Other actions are threefold in nature. There's actually only one yogic action, one yogic practice, which is the concern of the enlightenment practitioner, and that's to return to awareness, to return to the essential nature of awareness. And this action is repeated from moment to moment, a continual returning to awareness. This is the activity born of meditative focus that Sutra 6 mentioned. And it's neither black nor white, because it's not concerned with the great life flow that is rushing by. And what's important here is how we judge the actions of the yogi. We should be very careful about judging the actions of the yogi, because they are neither black nor white. And this is something that most of us feel predisposed to do. If we heard of a yogi who's a butcher, is this possible? Can a yogi be involved in the killing and cutting up of animals? Could a yogi be a soldier, a mercenary even? Could a yogi be somebody who works in a weapons factory? Could a yogi be a chain smoker? Is being a yogi about adopting a certain lifestyle? Is a yogi somebody who can be judged by his or her actions? Well, we all feel entitled to play that game, don't we? We'd like to know what sort of person a yogi is before we're inclined to listen to them. I used to know somebody who believed she could tell whether somebody was enlightened or not just by looking at their face. A photograph. It was all in the picture, it was all in the image, whether this person was enlightened or not. So we like to put yogis up on a particular pedestal, don't we? And I admit I would have a problem with some of the examples I've just given as well. But we cannot judge the yogi. The true yogi is not somebody who necessarily has removed themselves from society and is sitting up in some remote hermitage in the Himalayas. The true yogi is engaging with society, living in society. And it's very difficult to live in society without being morally compromised. So the yogi might have a family. Perhaps there's not many employment opportunities. Perhaps the only local employer is an arms manufacturer or a butcher. Perhaps the options for moving are very limited. Perhaps the yogi is living in a totalitarian state. Who knows? There's a well-known spiritual teacher who's a chain smoker, or who was a chain smoker. Chain smoking is what the body did. But I'm not trying to make excuses or to justify certain behaviour. What we have to be careful of is our propensity for judging behaviour. What we should be doing is asking ourselves whether what this person is teaching is useful. This is the key thing, isn't it? It doesn't matter what sort of person they are. It doesn't matter what they get up to, what their flaws are. They're almost certainly bound to have flaws. What we have to ask ourselves is, are they saying anything of use to us? We don't have to sign up to give them our body and soul, especially nowadays. You take what's useful. So we're not interested in the behaviour of the yogi. We're interested in whether what the yogi is saying is useful to us. And the only yogic actions that we're interested in are those that we practice ourselves, and that is the returning to awareness. Now, the other part of this sutra says that other actions are threefold in nature. In other words, actions which are not done in the light of spiritual practice, of enlightenment practice, are threefold in nature. And this threefold nature can be understood as the gunas, the three gunas of rajas, tamas and sattva. That's quite a neat philosophical understanding. I prefer to understand this from a more practical point of view, something that we can actually use. And if we look back to Book 2, Sutra 3, we find what we have to deal with here. The three factors are ignorance, a sense of separate selfhood, and the dynamic of attachment and aversion, which reinforces the sense of separate selfhood. This is the threefold nature that we have to watch out for and be concerned with. Are we operating in ignorance? Is our awareness cut off? And are we simply practicing aversion and attachment, and in doing so reinforcing our sense of separate selfhood? And this is what happens when we're judging the actions of the yogi. We're actually reinforcing our own sense of separate selfhood. Our guru becomes an extension of our ego,